Welcome back. Welcome back to another build video for Borderlands 4. This is really just theory crafting. But this one's for Rafa. This is the one build that I created for Rafa that I think sounds really good. And it has everything to do with Overdrive. Now, the thing about Overdrive is that there's a whole bunch of skills that pertain to Overdrive. And I just want to get into the build because it's all about Overdrive. This build has a foundation on Overdrive. Overdrive serves as the foundation for the build. Now we do have Peacebreaker cannons. It has a duration of 18 seconds. It has a cooldown of 32 seconds. And then whenever Rafa activates an action skill, he enters Overdrive. Overdrive has a duration of 12 seconds. He gets 10% bonus damage, 25% bonus movement speed. So, sounds good. Sounds good to me. Cooldown 32 seconds. Maybe there's a way. I'm sure that there might be a way to lower that through endgame stat increase. But we have Peacebreaker cannons as our action skill. Anyways, moving on. Rafa and his Peacebreaker cannons gain increased fire rate. So this is going to be 20% bonus fire rate. And this is just a passive bonus fire rate to Rafa and his Peacebreaker cannons. And I think this is pretty important because having 20% extra fire rate from the Peacebreaker cannons just really means that you have 20% extra DPS from your action skill. You pretty much get 20% extra damage out of your action skill usage. Not necessarily a 20% damage increase, but a DPS increase. And that's really good for having an action skill that is duration based, but also DPS based, right? So I think that one's going to be really good. Overdrive skill. Rafa gains increased shield recharge rate and improved shield regen delay while Overdrive is active. So this is going to be 55% bonus recharge rate and 60% shield recharge delay. Okay? So then we go all the way down to here. Overdrive skill. Rafa gains increased damage reduction while Overdrive is active. Damage reduction is going to be 40%. 40% damage reduction is not like your damage, the damage that you take is reduced by 40%. That's not exactly how it's calculated in the other games, and I doubt that's going to be how it's calculated in this game. It's going to be 1 divided by 1 plus 0.4, so 1 divided by 1.4. So it's not necessarily going to be 60%, but, if you get 100% damage reduction, you're taking half the damage. I expect that's how it's going to work, but maybe I'm wrong. It's still good, just has diminishing returns. Overdrive skill. Rafa gains increased splash damage while Overdrive is active. That's going to be 5 points into a 10% increase. 50% bonus splash damage. 50%. Overdrive gains increased duration. 55% increased duration. So 55%, how much is that actually? So Overdrive is 12 seconds. 50% of that would be 6 seconds. So 10% would be 1.2. Half of that would be 0.6. So 6.0.6 would be 6.6. So that would be 18.6 seconds for the duration, which is good. We want to maximize the duration as much as possible. If there's a class mod that boosts this by another 6.6 seconds, we could be cooking. We could be really cooking here, right? That could be really good. Overdrive skill. While Overdrive is active, Rafa gains increased movement speed and gains health regen. While Overdrive is not active, Rafa takes increased damage and gains increased action skill cooldown rate. Okay, so we do have increased action skill cooldown rate. That's going to be 30% action skill cooldown rate. That doesn't... it might not necessarily translate to a 30% reduction in how long it takes. Like, if we have a... It's going to be the same thing, I think. It's going to be 1 divided by 1.3. Right? So, whatever. It's going to give us... What we want is we want Overdrive to be active all the time. Pretty much all the time. And if we can get our cooldown from 32 to, like, I don't know, 18 or 32 to 24 seconds, like that's really good. That's pretty decent. Especially if we can get it down to 24 and get 5 out of 5 points into Everdrive. Whew, man, we're gonna be like this forever. We're gonna be in Overdrive forever. Overdrive skill, Rafa gains increased gun damage but decreased weapon handling. This bonus is based on how long Overdrive has been active. Gun damage plus 1% per second. 18 seconds in Overdrive. So gun damage plus 18%. So up to 18% gun damage. Oh, no, this is going to be 5% increases, probably to both gun damage and the weapon handling. So, yeah, about 18 times 5, that's going to be 80, 90. That's going to be 90% gun damage and up to negative 90% weapon handling. I want to try this skill out. This might actually be horrible. We'll see, because the weapon handling might kill it. The weapon handling might actually kill it. We'll have to find out. I'm a little scared about this skill, but that gun damage is massive. That gun damage is absolutely massive. Maybe you get a shotgun. Maybe you get a shotgun and that fixes it. Kill skill. Double all Overdrive bonuses. Now that's a kill skill. So that's not active all the time. But it's a kill skill. And it doubles all Overdrive bonuses. Doubles all of them. Alright, let's just look at the other Overdrive bonuses that we have going on. So we have regenerates ammo while Overdrive is active. That's going to be 2.5% ammo regen. And hopefully that's in your reserves. But we'll find out, I suppose. Maybe that is in your magazine, unfortunately. Overdrive skill, Rafa gains increased fire rate. Increased fire rate, gain further increased fire rate while Overdrive is active. So, I'm not entirely sure which part of this is going to be increased by Overdrive. Like if all Overdrive skills are doubled, I'm not entirely sure if both of these bonuses are going to be doubled. Otherwise, like if that's true, then that's going to be an extra 10% plus 15%, an extra 25% fire rate. And then we have Overdrive skill. Rafa gains increased weapon handling with all weapons and action skills while Overdrive is active. The longer Overdrive has been active, the greater the bonus. So, I mean, honestly, what we could probably do here is we could probably nerf our damage just a tiny bit by taking a point out of here. And then we could put that point into here. So now we're gaining weapon handling just as much as we're losing weapon handling. And the weapon handling won't even matter anymore. So now we're going to be getting 18 times 4% damage, which is going to be 72, 62, 62%, 64. 8 times 4, 32, plus 40, 72. Yeah, 72%. So we're still getting a lot of damage out of this skill. But now the weapon handling shouldn't be hurting us anymore. So that's good, right? It shouldn't be hurting us at all. Maybe we can move that point back into here and get a little bit of extra damage. But, yeah. Like, that... I mean, all of this stuff sounds so crazy to me. We have how much fire rate? We have 20% fire rate right there. We have an inherent... Okay, so we have 20% fire rate right there. We have 50% fire rate here when we get a kill and we're in overdrive, right? That's what I'm thinking right now. When we get a kill and we're in overdrive, we have 50% plus 20% giving us 70% fire rate. We have 5% ammo regen. We have 110% shield recharge rate bonus. And we have 120% shield recharge delay bonus, which that is also going to probably work as 1 divided by 1 plus 1.2. So that's going to be less than half. That's going to be less than half of our actual shield recharge delay. So, yeah, that sounds awesome. That sounds amazing. Damage reduction, 80% damage reduction. 1 divided by 1.8. That's almost going to be half damage. Increased splash damage. 100% increased splash damage. 100%. So this is not an overdrive skill. Movement speed and health regen. I don't know if this actually... will this double the while overdrive is not active, Rafa takes... Oh, wait, no, it wouldn't. Maybe. No. Overdrive bonuses. And that's not... Oh, yeah, it wouldn't do that. But... yeah, extra movement speed and health regen. So how much movement speed do we have? We have 35% movement speed from this. So double that. That's 70% movement speed. And then we have another 25% movement speed. Double that. That's 50. 120% movement speed. That sounds absolutely wild. And then we're also getting 20% extra damage just from our base overdrive. And then we have 5% health regen. 5% health regen. And then we have 8% per second. So now we have 72 times 2, which is 144% extra gun damage. Mind you, with no cost to weapon handling, 0 cost to weapon handling now because of how we spec'd into Apophis Lance, and we got this skill to counteract it. 144% bonus damage. Like, insane. And you might be thinking, well, okay, well, what splash damage? I mean, now I want to, use splash damage weapons? Yeah, you probably do. But also, pressing F while Peacebreaker cannons is active causes them to fire a volley of homing rockets at enemies in view at the cost of action skill duration. Homing, yeah, so these rockets are going to be doing splash damage. You might be thinking, oh, but that costs action skill duration. Think about it, though. We want Overdrive to be active as often as possible. Overdrive activates when we activate our action skill. So this costs 5% of max duration per missile. 5 times 6, So this will cost us 30%. So we got about 3 of these to drain our entire action skill. And then once we drain our entire action skill, then our cooldown starts, right? We do take increased damage, unfortunately, when our action skill is on cooldown, but we will also have damage reduction. So, well, at least as far as Overdrive will give us 80% damage reduction. So, how much damage do we take? 20% extra damage taken, but we take almost half damage. So, whatever, it's fine. So maybe about 60%, maybe 70% of the normal damage that we would normally take, we actually take. And then Rafa's Peacebreaker Cannon's weapons are replaced with rockets that deal splash damage. So, I mean, we can drain our action skill in order to upkeep Overdrive for as often as possible, or we can just let our action skill kind of do its thing to be able to get the 100% bonus splash damage from it. I'm thinking the best way to use this is probably just going to be draining it. And, it's a little unfortunate that our action skill is going to be kind of wasted at that point. But it's fine. I think it's okay. But we are kind of wasting our capstone, but honestly, I don't think it's really going to be that big of a deal. I still think it's going to be really, really good. The whole build just sounds absolutely wild. Yeah. I'm thinking this build is going to be insane. Absolutely insane. Especially once you get enough gear. If we're able to get a class mod that adds 5 out of 5 points into this, that would be insane. That would make this even better. Absolutely god tier. And if this counts as an overdrive skill, which I don't think it will, because usually, they say overdrive skill. This does not say that. So I don't think this is an overdrive skill. If for some reason this does count as an overdrive skill, this will be doubled already. So, and then if we can lower we have increased cooldown rate, but that will only go so far. If we can further decrease our action skill cooldown, we could maybe, depending on what kind of gear or stats we can increase, we could maybe have Overdrive active all the time. And if we have Overdrive active all the time, this skill is going to be absolutely overpowered. Absolutely monstrously overpowered if we're able to do that. If we're in the future able to get infinite overdrive, this skill might actually have to get nerfed. Not gonna lie. But even if, none of that ends up working out and we gotta spend a few seconds out of overdrive, I think this skill will be fine. I think this build will be fine. This whole build is going to be great. This is what I'm going to be doing with my Rafa. I'm extremely excited to be doing this with Rafa. This sounds like a hell of a lot of fun. I think this is going to be very good. I mean, whenever I activate an action skill, I activate Overdrive. Maybe Apophis Lance would be better for this. But I don't know. What is the cooldown on Apophis Lance? Apophis Lance cooldown 18 seconds. 3 charges. Maybe Apophis Lance would be better for this, honestly. Apophis Lance might actually be better for this. Allows him to fire piercing shock ordnance blasts. Sounds like splash damage. And we weren't really using our capstone in the other one anyways. So maybe this would be a better way to spec into it. This might actually be a better way to spec into it. So, I don't know. We'll have to find out. I was going to go ahead and use Peacebreaker cannons, but I mean, if we can have Overdrive active like all the time, if we just use Apophis Lance, then I see no reason not to use Apophis Lance. I mean, we're not really going to be making use of a capstone, and Apophis Lance isn't going to be doing a crazy amount of damage, but if we're able to have infinite overdrive, I mean, this skill is going to be broken. This skill is absolutely going to break the game. So, yeah. This is definitely what I'm going to do. I don't know about you guys. Let me know what you are thinking of my build. We're just theory crafting here. There's no guarantee that the build is going to work out exactly the way I expect it to, but from what I'm seeing, like this is overpowered, blatantly overpowered. So I can't wait to get my hands on it. Maybe Rafa should be my first character, honestly, because this is, whew, this looks insane, and I don't want it to be nerfed. It might get nerfed before I get to it. Maybe I'll have to make Rafa my first character instead of Vex. I might have to. I might just have to. But, yeah. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a good one. Hope you continue having good ones. And I hope to catch you on the next stream. Not the stream. I do stream. Hopefully I can catch you on some streams. I don't stream crazy often, but I do. Same handle is what I use here on YouTube. Gamer with Taste. Anyways, I'll have to catch you on the next video. But yeah, until the next video, I'm gonna have to catch you later. Take care.